Pack your bags, it's full speed ahead today on this makeover journey. And we are not slowing down until we have whipped this house renovation into shape. So join me today and let's see where our makeover journey takes us. We're 5 months into a major renovation project on my dream home. Now, we started out with a 29-year-old ranch, and then we totally demolished it. If you've been watching the series, I'm sure you're asking me the same question my friends have asked. Why didn't you just tear it down? Well, don't be silly. This house has great bones. We just need to break a few to get it into the shape we wanted. Here's what we've done to this point. Replaced the heating and cooling systems. We even relocated the units from the front of the house to the side. All new electrical service. The plumbing was relocated in every room except for one guest bathroom. The walls were torn down and new walls were built. A new staircase was installed. We replaced all the doors, the windows, and installed skylights. We even installed it to die for a new steel door to the front of the home. Brick masons cut new openings and closed up existing ones, and the list just goes on and on and on. But today, we're getting really close to finishing this project. New hardwoods have been installed, and I'm ready to select the new stain for the floors. There was a lot of work to be done on the hardwood floors in this house, and of course, my favorite floor guy is this guy right here, Dan Minton. Dan, I am so excited because today we're going to pick out the stain for the floors, because you had the old floors and the new floors.
That's right. We integrated new flooring and weaved it into your existing flooring to save that cost, and I think we had a couple more bedrooms also for you in the back. Our next stage is we're going to sand and finish everything, and right now we're going to pick out some colors. All
right, well, let's do it.
This first color I wanted you to look at is made by Duracell. It's a dark walnut. It's not too dark, but it is a medium brown stain. We're going to pour out a little bit.
This is the way to really pick out a stain right in your house on the floor.
I already prepped a large area of the floor here, so you get to see the stain on your wood in your house on multiple boards. You know, trying to look at stain color with the samples is very hard at times, so you need to see it in a large area.
And at first I was concerned, like, well, how are you going to get the stain out? You said, well, we're going to sand everything down.
Oh, yeah, we'll sand it all back down. We'll get all this out for you, so that's not a problem. We'll let that soak just for a second, and then what we'll do here is we're going to wipe it clean. Now, stain's kind of funny. You need to look at stain while it's wet. When stain dries, it turns very opaque, okay?
Oh, okay.
So, but when you put that first coat of urethane down, it brings that nice, rich color back out like when you see the stain was wet.
Okay.
So this is Duracell dark walnut.
Okay.
It's not too dark, but it is a pretty rich looking stain. I love the stain. It's got a built-in sealer in it. It actually will seal the wood.
Okay, that's pretty. That's pretty. And one of the things that I said is I wanted these grains to look black.
The grain looks black, and you still have a little bit of brown goldish tint into the closed grain, but definitely the open grain is
looks great.
Black.
Okay, what other color choices do I have?
Okay, do you like this, or do you want to go darker? You want to go lighter? I got
Let's try a little darker. Let's try a little darker. Yeah.
Okay, the next one up is what I would choose is Jacobine. Jacobine.
Now that looked really dark on that little sample.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I said, you can't tell by that little sample. We're gonna pour a little bit out here, make a mess and everything else. So.
You know, it's always great when I see you coming on the project because I know we're almost done. Because the sanding and refinishing the floors is the last thing.
That's the last thing you want to do in the house.
So they don't get messed up.
That's right. You don't want a bunch of subcontractors working on top of your nice finished floor. So we'll let that sit for a second. And then we'll...
Now, is this a water-based product?
No, this is an old base. This is an old base stain. It's a high-quality Duracell. It's been around forever. This color right here is a little richer. It still has the black in the grain, but it has just a hair bit more.
Wow. Wow, this is tough, Dan. This is really tough, isn't it?
It's kind of tough sometimes.
Yeah.
You know.
Because this is... You know, I like this because this has a little bit of red to it. Picks up the red oak.
It picks up a little bit of the red oak.
Yeah. Boy,
One thing you
really
need to
pretty.
think about too is you're comparing a sanded part, a stained part with unstained, so you get a lot of contrast here.
Yeah.
When you get it all over the floor, it doesn't look as dark. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
The tendency is to, you know, when I put it down like this, it looks a lot darker than it really is.
Well, I know I don't want to go lighter. I know I don't want to go lighter.
Either one of those colors, I think, will look very good in your decor here.
Yeah,
because
we're going to do the black doors and black mullions. All right, let me live with these a little bit, and then I'll give you a call tomorrow and let you know.
No problem. You got plenty of time, and once this dries, like I said, it's going to turn opaque, but what I'm going to do is, after a couple hours, I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of sealer on this.
Oh, okay, so I'll really get the real color.
Yeah, I'll bring that color back out, and then that sealer coat will dry in a couple hours, and that way you can come back 2 or 3 days later and make a decision. All right. Whatever you want.
Well, thank you, Dan. I appreciate you coming out to do this. And,
no problem.
I'm excited. Can't wait to see you
in
here with the crew. Thanks, hon. Every day that I come here to the house to check on the progress, I have wonderful surprises, and today is no exception. This is my new pantry, and the cabinets have been installed, but actually just the base cabinets, because the cabinets that Tom designed for this area have a whole big stack of cabinets that's going to go up from here, but it rests on the countertop. So before Jeff could install the rest of the cabinets, Angie and her crew had to put in the countertops. Now, in the kitchen, I'm using real Carrara marble, and this is a sample of what I'm using. For the pantry, though, I wanted to use a product that was more durable because in the pantry, I'm going to be sliding pots and pans over it. I chose a quartz product, and this is a new pattern. It's designed to look like Carrara marble, and look how great those look together. So I'm really excited about that to see how it turned out. Now, some of the features in my pantry. First of all, I have a bank of drawers. In these drawers, I'm going to be lining them with a tarnish-proof fabric that'll go in here. I have a lot of silver pieces that I like to use for parties. Once I get them polished up and I store them in this drawer, they'll stay nice and shiny, and I can get them out and use them anytime I want. I won't have to worry about polishing the silver the night before the company comes. Now, I'm also incorporating some other things in here. For example, right back here behind me, I've got some dividers. This is a perfect place for me to store some of the big party platters and trays in this area out of the way. Now, in this section, this is going to be for canned goods. It's only 9 inches deep. It'll be perfect for that kind of storage. But one of my favorite features in this new pantry is going to be going in that hole right there. If you've been watching my shows for the years, you know that one of my hobbies is stained glass. In fact, I hosted the glass show on PBS for almost 20 years. I did a panel with fruits and vegetables in it, and I turned it into a light box in my very first home that I had. I've kept up with that panel, and this is going to be its new home. We're going to have a light behind it. The stained glass will be in here, and that's going to be kind of my window. It's going to provide light all the time here in the pantry. And anytime I open up the door and I walk in here, I'm going to feel like I'm back at home. The finishing touches for any project has got to be all about the molding, and we have a beautiful trim package that's going to be going into this house. Now, this is Alan Davis, and he is our project superintendent, and he's been working with me day in, day out, right?
Yes.
And you're still talking to me?
Still so. Haven't lost faith yet.
All right, and I haven't either. I'm so excited about the way the project's developing.
Me too.
Okay, we're going to be doing coffered ceilings in here.
That's correct. It's a large three-dimensional idea in order to lower a very high ceiling so you don't feel so far spaced out while you're in your living room.
And you know, I always loved that look of it, and I had it in another house that I had in a much smaller room, but this is pretty gigantic.
It is.
All right, walk me through. This is what it's going to look like.
It's going to be a box beam frame, 2x6 plywood framing with 1x6 MDF on the bottom. You'll have side molding on each side, 1x6, as well as just a little neck molding here. 7 1/4 crown to build up this to take up the massiveness of the space.
And this is really massive when I see it down in person like this.
Yes.
And so now the guys are already starting to work on putting this up. But before that, you laid out all these lines on here.
That's correct. They're now in the process of putting 2x6 framing up for the box beam. The reason that we laid it out, you see the chalk lines up there, is because we have recessed can lights that are going in, but also at the same time, we have a set of built-in wall cabinets that are going back here, bookshelves and such. And our coffer ceiling is tying in directly into some pedestals that are on that bookcase.
Okay, so Janine did the design for you, and then you guys had to transfer that right out into the field
That's
drawings.
correct, yes.
Okay, well, you know, just seeing the lines on the ceiling was pretty exciting for me today, and to see this, I think it's great. And when it all gets done, it'll all be painted in nice white color.
It will be. It's going to be a pure white color, semi-gloss, I believe, is the finish.
Okay, now, in the hallway.
Yes.
I asked you, what can we do in that long hallway to dress it up a little bit? What'd you come up with?
Well, in the T hallway, we have the idea of judges paneling with a picture rail for the top. So kind of what we were thinking is a chair rail base with a stool ripped down to a 1/4 inch because it has a radiused edge on the front. So you can lean your pictures up as you go down.
Yeah, because you know how I like to do that. It's
Down the hallway. And for the picture framing underneath, this is called Johnny Moore mold. It's just a picture framing molding that we'll put boxes underneath the rail itself as it goes down the hallway.
Okay, so then we'll frame it all out, so when you look down that hallway, it's going to look like it's paneled, but the actual big panels are going to be drywall.
That's exactly right. It's be a painted wall inside.
Okay, yeah, because I shared with you a photo from my old house and said,
You did.
Try to make this in. I like what you've come up with. It's pretty close to what I have.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so this is going up, and the rest of the trim in the house, how long is it going to take them to trim out the whole house?
A house this size, it's a pretty big house that you have here, 10 to 14 days start to finish to include door trim, base, shoe mold, and get everything said and done.
Well, now time's ticking away, ticking away, ticking away. So it's, you know, my job, I'm constantly on Alan's case to say, okay, when are we doing this? When are we doing that? But he does a great job. I can't wait to see the guys. You think they'll have this done today?
Well, there's a really good chance in it, yes.
All right, well, I'll check back with you later.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, son. When you're doing a project this big, you have a lot of opportunities to incorporate some luxury items. Now, for me, on my list of I really want to have that, were heated floors in the bathroom. Nothing is worse than to step on a cold tile floor. So with floor heating, that's not an issue. Very simple to install. Our contractor took the measurements of the open space. That's the space not under the vanity or under the water closet, but just the exposed areas, sent those measurements to the company, and in 3 days, they pre-made, think of it as an electric blanket, this mat that rolled out on the floor. Couldn't be easier than that. Now, how do we control this heating system? Just like you do your other heating systems, with a thermostat. Now this thermostat will be connected to these wires and mounted right here on the wall, and then you can just dial it to whatever temperature you want your floors to be. These wires go down through the tube and come out and connect to the sensor that we have positioned right here in the floor. That'll go underneath the tile. In addition to having this done in the guest bedroom, I also had it done, of course, in the master bedroom, in that bath area. We even added it to the shower floor and to the bench in the shower. So that's going to turn that shower space into like a day spa. So if you're going to be doing a major renovation project around your house, think about saving energy and getting nice warm steps for your little toes in your bathroom by putting a heated floor system in. I can't wait to that first cold morning to enjoy these floors. Now this is the master bathroom, and it's nice and large. We have a separate water closet where the toilet will be installed, and we have a nice big walk-in shower that's also fitted for steam, so this will be a great steam shower. One of the first things that you're going to notice when you look at this room is that the walls are green. They're not your normal drywall. That's because it's a bathroom, and in areas where you're going to have a lot of moisture, you need a different wall board. This green wall board has a protective material in it that resists water. If we used regular drywall in here, it would wick up the moisture, and that's not a good thing. Now in the shower, we have even a different wall board. Now this is what we call a cement board, and the texture on it is designed so it really grabs a hold of the cement that holds the tiles. So that's what's used in this area, and in the other area, we have the nice green board. You'll notice too, while we're looking at the shower here, see that heated mat that we talked about? This is how it was installed in the shower. Okay. Now, what are we going to be doing to decorate in here? Well, we are going to be using the tiles that I have here on the floor. This is the floor tile. It's going to go over the heated floor, and as soon as I get through talking to you, the guys are going to get in here and roll that mat out in this area. This tile has a nice little gray striation in it. The beauty of it is it's a 24 by 24 inch size, and that's what's in style now. Big, large pieces of tile. Even if you have a small area, think about using these big tiles, and these tiles will be installed on an angle, not straight along the walls. That's also a great idea if you're doing a renovation project. Your out of square walls won't look so noticeable. Now, the tile we're going to be using, well, this is a tile that's going to go into the shower. It's Carrara marble, these great little oval shapes. This will be a band that runs around the sides of the shower. On the countertops, we're using Carrara marble. And in the rest of the shower area, we've got these great high polished white gloss tiles that'll go in. The whole palette is nice, light, and airy. I think it's going to turn out really beautiful. Painting a house like this is a really big project. Even picking out the paint colors for 14 rooms and the exterior can be a daunting task. This is Jackie Jordan, and she's a color expert with Sherwin-Williams. She's also a friend of mine. And when someone with her credentials offers to help you pick out paint colors, you'd be a fool to say no. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Vicki.
I am so excited about the colors that you've helped me pick out today. You know, the hardest part, I think, is to get that one color that is your kind of base color. What are some tips to make that easier?
You are absolutely right, Vicki. And what we did is we started with your fabric, this beautiful creamy white, used that as the foundation for the entire home. It was a great place to start.
Okay, well, I'm very happy with it. And, you know, I know it's going to look great because, like you say, you can't throw out everything that you have and start over.
Right.
So we're working with some existing items. I also found that these colors worked really well to use them as custom colors, like on my cabinetry and those kind of areas, so I wasn't trying to match up other things. Take us through the palette of what you've chosen here.
Okay, what we did, like you said, started with your fabric, the base color for the house. We chose a trim color, which I think is really important to have that continuity from room to room, that one single thing that every room has. Went with white. The doors are black, which is going to make a great statement. Absolutely
I'm excited
love that.
about that.
Yeah, pick that up from your chairs, and then we moved on to this room here. This was the master bath. And this beautiful aqua color, so soothing, it's calming, great color for a bathroom. Works so well with these beautiful cool whites that you have. It's wonderful natural materials.
And you can really tell too that this is a warmer palette here and this is a cooler in the whites. And I think whites are the hardest ones, aren't they?
Whites are very hard because they have so many different undertones. So starting where we did was a great place, using all of these materials. Moving on to the laundry room, again, we wanted to do something maybe a little bit different. Stayed with those aqua tones, but want to throw maybe a little yellow on the ceiling. I think that will be really fun. So we have a few here that we can play with.
Yeah, and this is the color of the custom cabinets that we chose for the Laundry Creativity Center. And with the countertop, most people would think yellow on the ceiling, but I think the ceilings are always so underutilized, don't you?
Ceilings are very underutilized. It's great to throw a little bit of color up there. It's a little interesting. You walk into your room, you're like, oh, that's kind of fun. I like that.
Well, you made some great suggestions for the outside color palette that we worked with as well.
Right, we have this beautiful stucco color. Again, we went with a nice kind of warmer white color, beautiful black trim, great contrast. And then, of course, everybody always asks about that blue that you use on porch ceilings. That's it. It's absolutely perfect.
Well, you know, the blue, I gave you a doorway that I had shot in Greece. I took a picture of it, and I said, that's the color of blue I want. And you used your apps and were able to come up with just a perfect match for that. And I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, Color Snap is great to find that inspiration shot and then pick out a color that you really love.
This was a stumper, though. Grays are really, really tough.
Great.
You know, these are the things that we're using, and the tile is in the guest bathroom, and the countertop, and the cabinetry. And this is the upholstered headboard that we're using in the bedroom. Give us some tips for picking out grays.
Grays, again, they're very much like whites because they have those undertones. They can go very cool and they can go very warm. So again, starting with your materials, this beautiful tile, this great warmth to it, this beautiful textile as well. So we chose a color that was kind of right in the middle as far as lightness and darkness, one that leaned a little bit to the warmer side because those were the tones that you were working with. You can also go darker if you wanted to, but then you can see the difference how warm that gets. It gets even greener.
Yeah,
so you've got to
you
be
can really
very
see the
careful
green
of
in
the
that.
undertones.
Uh-huh.
I tell people, take those colors and put them on top of each other. Those undertones then all of a sudden rise to the surface.
They
and it
do,
lets
because you
go
can
the
really
right
see
direction.
that when you put them right on top of each other. And that's a great change, a great change. Now, when you're working with color, you know, a lot of people, I think, make a mistake. I mean, we are changing colors. We have a bedroom as a color and another color. You still want to find the tone. So when I talked to you about the home office, you said, what about black?
And that is great. I love black rooms. People always think, oh my gosh, if I paint something black, it's going to close that room in. And actually, it almost has the opposite effect. I always tell people, when you go outside and you look into that night sky, it's not closing down on you. It looks like it's infinity. It's a great color for an office.
Well, the room that we chose was a guest bedroom to make it into a home office, and it is the smallest room in the house. So that trick with black is exactly what we needed to do in there. Now, we're also using the same trim color throughout the entire house. And are there tricks about black? Is there warmer blacks, cooler blacks?
Yeah, blacks are the same thing. You know, some of them have green, some of them have blue. There's, you know, blacks that just have those different undertones. So you have to be careful. But the true black, beautiful. You won't make any mistakes with that one.
Well, you know, as I look across the table, there is a real story that we're seeing here, you know, and when you first start out and you look at a deck of colors or all the paint swatches at the hardware stores or the paint stores, it gets to be really overwhelming. But once you start to make your choices and you see them the way that we have them laid out here, there is a story. It's got great color, it's got great warmth, and I appreciate it so much, Jackie.
Oh, you're
I made so many
welcome.
decisions on this house that this was what I said, help, I need your help. So this is great. I can't wait for you to come back and see it all painted.
I can't either. It's going to be spectacular.
Now, the outside of the house got a major renovation as well. It's a brick home, and I wanted to kind of break up that brick a little bit by incorporating some stucco. Now, this is Silvano. He is our plaster master for the project. I think what you guys are doing is looking really great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, this is our sample board, right?
That is the sample right here. What we're gonna do here, we're gonna apply the color into the stucco now. This is a real stucco process that we
It's not synthetic at all.
It's not synthetic.
It's a cement. It's a cement product?
It's a cement product. And what we're gonna do here, we're just gonna apply this color to look like limestone looking.
Yeah.
And what we did here, we put 3 coats process, which is the scratch coat, brown coat, and the finish coat.
Okay, so now this is the ground coat, and then this is what the finished coat you're going to be putting on
Right,
today.
this is just gonna be this color right here.
Uh-huh. And we matched this up to the trim color that we did around the house, so
That's
it's
correct.
lighter. You know,
That's correct.
Now, I saw it when it had like a kind of a black liner paper, tar paper like on
Right,
it.
that's felt paper.
Okay, and then you put a wire mesh over
That is correct.
to hold the cement, I guess,
That's
right?
correct. That's
so
correct.
just like an old plaster kind of concept, right?
Right.
So what we were wanting to do here is this window is just kind of jumps out of the side of the house, and it was really unattractive before.
Right.
So I met with Savannah and we talked about it and we decided, he said, Vic, why don't we make this look like stacked limestone blocks?
Right.
And so now I think it's going to be great. It's going to be really
Yes,
good. Yeah, we
I
had to also work the layout of it. And you know, this turned out really good. By the layout, I mean like, where are the blocks? How big are they going to be? What size? And this is when you can tell somebody's really good at their job. Now, I said, let's line these up with the mullions in the window, and you guys did a great job with that.
Thank you.
It looks really super. So now you're going to put the finish coat on. Do you have to seal it or anything afterwards?
Well, we had to seal the joints on between the window and the stucco,
Okay.
which is not ready yet. When we put the color on, and then we gotta let it dry for a day, and then we can come back and seal that around with a caulk, silicone, and it'll be good.
That's
rest
all
of
we
the-
have to do.
That's all.
Right. And then around the doors and the back under the terrace, it's just going to be smooth.
It's smooth.
Okay,
It's
look
gonna
like
be
the
the
sample.
same process.
Yeah.
It's going to be a sample right here.
Well, I can't wait to see it come together. I'm
All right,
so
let's do
pleased
it.
with it. It's just exactly what we needed to touch off the house.
All right, cool.
Thank you, hon.
Thank you.
Well, it's time for our update from our general contractor, Ben Mandan from Andrew Roby Construction. Well, what do you think?
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Finally getting a little respect around
Oh, yeah,
here.
now you got your own little theme music,
I
your own
like
little
it.
roll-in, huh?
I like
All
it.
right. Well, now don't let it go to your head because I'm still going to hold you responsible to get this job pushed through and on its way.
That's true. We do have to finish up, don't we?
Yeah, we do. It's a lot of fun. We could hang out here together forever, but
Sure.
sooner or later, I got to live somewhere, right? So
Good
where are
point.
we? What do we have to look forward to?
Well, we're finishing up cabinets right now. Then we'll be ready to template the granite. But we still need to have you get together and get the paint colors finished up.
Okay.
Get the hardwood floor stain color finalized. That way, once we get the countertops in, we can start painting, get the hardwood floor stains. We can keep moving and get this place wrapped up for you.
Yeah, well, somehow I knew you were going to take this and make it part of my responsibility. You got to get your paint colors, you got to get the stains. Well, I am thrilled to be able to pick all those things out because it's really a lot of fun for me as a designer at this stage to start making those great selections and, you know, seeing it all come together. So you guys are doing a great job. You keep all these great subs that we're working with lined up, and I'll make sure all the materials and the choices get made on time. And before you know it, we'll be done with this project.
That's right. It's all part of the team, getting you back in here. That's our ultimate goal.
That's my goal, too.
Thanks.
There's so much going on the inside of the house that it's hard to remember sometime that that's only half the story. We're also redoing the entire landscape. All of that gets underway next week. I hope you'll join me as we work with our landscape crew to create a master garden. See you next time right here on For Your Home. Do you want to know more about the projects today or our guests? Visit us on the web. You're going to find great behind-the-scenes